Cabin 13 Productions.
You were like, hey, dog, you know, you talk dumb?
A flying machine?
Yeah.
Like,
They look at you like you're
flying's for birds, buddy.
crazy. Would look, and here's my problem with it. That's not a straight line.
You guys make me sick. Man, dude,
Despite whether or not you
I
believe
don't care. The moon landing video's fake anyways, dude. Like...
I'm such a loser, sweating God, I'm the worst.
As inhabitants of the Earth, we have always been fascinated by the stars and a sense of wonder they inspire. When humans first ventured into space, they were struck by how insignificant their earthly problems seem when looking back at their home planet. However, it's concerning that a large portion of the Earth's population has not had the opportunity to see the planet from space, leading to various conspiracy theories about the true nature of Earth. Is our planet truly a spherical body in the vastness of the galaxy? Or is it actually flat like a map? Join us in exploring the flat Earth debate here on the WOODSMEN Podcast. Welcome back to the WOODSMEN Podcast. We're your hosts, Brent Murphy.
Joey Rucker.
And my man, another week, another nickel.
I feel like that's our go-to. We got to get another line, because I think every housekeeping, we're like, another week, another dollar, another week, another nickel.
I mean, another week, another nickels from SpongeBob. I'm just paying homage to, like, you know.
Yeah, but if we're paying
the one
homage
who
every
helped
week,
raise me.
that's
Wait. How'd you say that?
what?
Say homage.
I didn't do it. Okay, listen.
Did you say
I didn't
paying
say.
homage?
I did not. Okay, hold on. I didn't say that today.
You said that just now.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Did I?
Whatever. So we got
I'll
some
tell you
house...
this though. No. To be fair though, in the episode, whatever. I don't. Was it Dreams? Oh, no, it was Dreams, because it was the episode with our James Earl housekeeping. Everybody, yeah, in the James Earl Jones episode during Bear Facts, I definitely said homage like the entire time.
Okay, I'm glad it wasn't just me, because I was like...
I don't think
like,
I
did
said
he-
the word homage. Is it homage? I don't even
It's
know
homage.
how to. It's homage. I didn't think I said it today, but maybe I did, and I just didn't realize it. My bad. Yeah, we're off to a great start. They've been roasting me off camera, and the moment the cameras are on,
I mean, you did that one to yourself. Anyways.
no, I didn't. You brought it up. You were like, "Hey, dog, you know, you talk dumb." It's a fantastic episode, Chad. I'm so excited for this, and the topic alone is gonna just make us even better friends. We have housekeeping, and the first thing we want to talk about is Patreon.
Now we know that we literally have video exclusively on YouTube and Patreon in our credits every single week since the beginning of this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys haven't noticed, if you looked us up on Patreon, we're not on there.
We don't exist.
We've dropped the ball, you know. Honestly, I mean, I would say it's our fault. We've just been so busy.
We've been working really hard to get everything just for Woodsman, the black and white cut of it, to work.
We just finished our outline like 10 minutes before we started filming. So
we're still struggling at this weekly thing, but we're getting better, and we have some actual serious plans for Patreon now.
Yeah.
So we're hoping within the next month or two.
Yeah, probably.
Next month or two, we're going to finally have that at least created.
At least you can find us even if there's
We'll have to work out a whole video upload schedule after that, but we're working on getting it created right now for you guys. So at least then when you do look us up, if for all those people who listen to our outro, it'll make sense because we actually exist.
Yeah. But just beware, we're a whole bunch of broke boys, so we, as broke boys, figured that we would let you guys know that if you decide to listen to us on Patreon, on Apple's app of Patreon, definitely like sign up for your subscription on the desktop version, because if you sign up through the app, Apple is taking 30% of your proceeds and we get none of it. And I mean, we could be a little salty about the fact that, like, we would like to make some money too, but
Yeah.
Apple doesn't need
But we also don't want chat's money wasted.
Yeah, we don't. And Apple doesn't need any of your money like that. So
They have enough.
they have they have plenty. Trust me. Especially just from us, they have plenty.
Yeah.
But just beware. If you are going to subscribe, definitely subscribe through the desktop version, and then you can listen, freely on the app. Just do not subscribe on the app, because that's the
freely.
bad thing.
They would be paying us, right?
They'd be paying us, but that 30% would
Yes,
not be
you
going to
wouldn't-
us. There would be an extra 30%.
No, I know. I just didn't want us to make
them.
false claims. You will be paying to watch us.
You will be paying.
But the money will go to us
Yeah.
rather than a third-party company who
Yeah.
likes to steal
Yeah.
your hard-earned funds.
Exactly.
We'll put your funds to good use.
We
Make
will.
our podcast better.
We
make you
probably
more
won't
entertained.
even use it for anything fun. We'll probably just end up putting it
Just
right
be
back
to
into
make
this
us a better
podcast.
spot, yeah.
So
It'll
mean,
probably be to put air conditioning in this room. Let's be
probably,
honest.
or the Apollo times 8.
Or the Apollo times 8. That is true.
That's all I'm saying. But anyways,
we also have to discuss something kind of beginning to an end. Reference to our shameless plug to an episode. Go watch beginning to an end. Chillcast. We are probably going to be wrapping up season 2 of Woodsmen Podcast a bit sooner than expected.
tonight, actually.
Tonight. Oh, yeah, you're right. It's
Literally tonight.
I think today is the grand finale of season 2 of the Woodsmen
season
Podcast.
2. No, I mean, it's just, we've been figuring things out, obviously. We've been, slowly working up, doing better. And part of that is we have learned that some of our structuring on every platform has been pretty not consistent.
Yeah.
So instead of trying to go back, try and like reformat things while we're also trying to produce a show, while we're also trying to edit, while we're also trying to get Patreon together, while we're also trying
And
to
social media.
do
and-
socials and all of that, like it's just too much all at once. So we decided might as well just end it here on a good note, and then by the next coming episode it'll be the start of Halloween, and you know what that means. I get to take over. So nah. But we just decided, might as well just wrap up now and then come back strong with a good format and a good system going on. And what
And
better?
honestly, I think season 2 was good. It's probably gonna be our shortest season going forward.
For sure.
But we had some good episodes.
We had a solid 10 episodes come out
crazy
of this.
topics: pirates, politics, dreams.
We went
food.
We went through 3 different studios in one season. You realize that, right? The beginning of the season, fatherhood, that was literally your house.
Yeah, that's true. What was the second one?
Okay, maybe it was just one. Maybe it was just one.
Well,
but
if you count my room, that
Well,
may
2.
have been that one
Oh,
chillcast,
you're
because
right,
we did
you're right.
have to record in my room.
it's not studios, but like 3 different places.
I'll have to pop up, at least for the visual watchers, a picture of Brent when we recorded in my room. For audio listeners, to describe it to you, it's a picture of him sitting behind a real janky makeshift blanket that we put the blankets on the mic stands for sound compression because the room was too echoey, and you can just see Brent's forehead.
I mean, it low-key worked really well.
No, it worked fantastic.
Like,
it was just
when we took
definitely
the blanket off?
most ghetto setup we've probably ever done.
Hey, bro, I mean, if you gotta do it in a
If it
blanket
works,
for
it
it, you
works.
gotta do it in a blanket for it.
Yeah,
That's all
dude.
I'm saying.
Thank God it was a chillcast. Oof.
It would have been rough if it was on video.
No,
but
but
no,
I really
we-
had fun this season. I think this was a good one.
Yeah, no, this is a good one. We're just doing better on topics and stuff too. I mean, we have like, hopefully, fingers crossed, we have pretty much the whole podcast, at least all the topics and stuff mapped out at least until January. So that'll be pretty sick. That'll be pretty sick.
So look forward to it.
That we just let you guys know because this will be the end of season 2. Not the end of the Woodsman,
Not
but
the end of
just
the Woodsman.
just the season 2.
You can't kill us, baby.
Yeah,
We're like
baby.
cockroaches. We come back when you step on us.
But we always manage to somehow find our way back into the crawl space.
Yep. But yeah, that's pretty much all of our housekeeping. Get ready for season 3. We're gonna start very spoopy. It's
Heck
gonna be
yeah.
very fun. I
And
think
it-
you guys are gonna look forward to it.
Yeah, and again, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns,
Yes.
stories that you would like to send in or potentially want to be on the pod, you can always email us at thewoodsmenpod@gmail.com. So, without further ado, let's build our friendship up and talk about the greatest topic ever, Joey.
Yeah.
One of your favorites.
It's gonna be so much fun. Can't wait.
Let's hit up the flat earth, baby. And we're back, chat. Man, I don't know if I'm ready for this one, to be honest.
I have been thinking about it all week, and I cannot fully decide whether or not we are going to take this too seriously or not serious enough. I genuinely don't know.
Well, I mean, I guess the best thing to do is, should we both state the fact that we don't believe in flat earth?
Oh yeah, I mean that's probably a fair place to start.
I
That's
was
a good
gonna
point.
say,
Yeah.
I think maybe we should.
In case you were
specify.
curious, chat. I don't think. Well, I don't. I definitely don't.
I mean, I like my fringy stuff, but I also don't believe we're gonna fall off the earth when we reach the end. So-
Yeah. Unless maybe you just run into something. Maybe you
Like
don't
an
just
ice wall?
fall. Maybe
Who knows?
No, I've never. I don't know. The whole theory behind flat Earth theory just doesn't feel like, and because that's, I'm already feeling myself about to go on tangents, bro. But like, I've never been completely behind everything science. We've obviously grown up under the Christian faith, and so certain things that scientists believe created the universe or how the universe has come to be, I don't agree with. And there's certain ways of just how the universe currently works that I do agree with. And so it's like, it's hard for me to sit here and like believe the science of the earth not being flat, but at the same time, it's like, but science can also not be correct in my opinion at times. So it's like a very like stepping on thin ice, you know?
Ice
Ice.
wall. Well, I mean, I guess we should just start with what the flat Earth theory is before we go and start debating and hating each other. So flat Earth theory, pretty wild. It is, I guess, what you guys would assume it is. It's where the Earth isn't round. it's where the Earth isn't round.
You'd be surprised. The flat Earth theory is the theory that the Earth is a prism.
It's a that would be even crazier to think
It'd
of.
be wild.
No, I mean, I guess there's a lot having to do with like flat Earth theory. Like there's there's more to it than just, I guess, like, oh, you can fall off the edge of the Earth, like we mentioned. There's dome flat Earth theory where it's like, it's kind of like the Simpsons movie where you just got a dome around, dome around you.
Or like, what's it called? The movie, the Jim Carrey movie.
Oh, like the Truman Show. Yes.
Yeah.
There's that kind of theory. There's diamond-shaped flat Earth, which
Kind of new to us. We actually didn't know. about
I
that.
haven't really heard about this one. I mean, I would assume it would have to do if it's like actual diamond shape. Maybe like you got the flat top.
Yeah,
and then you
I
kind
think
of
the idea
fall
was that
down.
You have the flat top, which is where we are, I guess, and then the bottom chunk of the Earth is
Almost like kind of when you look at Asgard in the Marvel movies, where it kind of like falls off a little bit, but it's almost like cliffy, like
Yeah,
at the bottom, almost like upside down mountains in a way. So like you still got like if you dig down, there's
yeah.
stuff there. You don't just fall through
You just don't fall through
you
it.
don't just fall through the earth.
I've always wondered. Well, no, I can't go into too many questions yet because that's going to be our debating part. So
Yeah.
continue.
So you got that. You have infinite plane flat Earth, which I would like to think that would be pretty cool, where beyond the ice wall or the
'cause
ice wall of
basically
Antarctica.
The common thought, or at least, isn't it like the original idea, is that the Earth is a flat plane and is surrounded at the farthest edges by an ice wall. So the
Yeah.
idea of what
so
did
that
you call it?
you could technically, if you could get around that ice wall,
It would just keep going.
that
on
there
a
would
flat
be
surface?
more like land, I guess more continents, you would say.
See, and you know what could be interesting? Let's go down a little conspiracy hole for a second, because I know you love those.
I love it.
If the flat Earth theory is correct and there is something past the ice wall that we just have never been able to get to, what if those are what if that's something to do with like the multiverse, or something to do with other dimensions, like how we always consider ourselves to be like we can't reach it, but things can peek through, like the shadow people or something like that. What if those are something
Interesting,
from like
okay.
the other side of the wall?
Well, I mean, I guess
That would be crazy.
That would make sense, I guess, if you're going by like the infinite plane theory.
Yeah,
it
that's
would
where I'm
be
going.
essentially like if there's no space,
Well,
like
'cause,
say
like,
if
what's
everything we know
past
about
it?
space has just been a lie.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
then I guess you could technically, I guess, see it as like, yeah, there are other.
Because that's what I've always wondered, is what is past the ice wall then? If it's an infinite plane, like, is there more of us? Is there nothing?
aliens,
Aliens? Could that be where the aliens have been hiding this whole time?
terrestrial, where it's like they come from Earth, not like away from Earth, you know.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, there's a lot of theories of that. I mean, we're also talking about like maybe talking about the deep ocean at some point as well. And there's a lot of theories where it's like it's ultra terrestrial. That's what it's called, where like it comes from Earth. It's
Yeah.
not out of this world, you could say. That would be interesting. That is actually very interesting. Well, there's also, I guess, a website that deeply talks about flat Earth theory, and it is, I believe, can you go up on the notes real quick, Eric? I think it should be on the first thing there. Yeah, so the Flat Earth Society. That is like a society, I guess, started by people, and they have like their own website and everything. So I guess like that's, if you want all the crazy information and like the quote unquote science of like flat Earth, that's where you're gonna find a lot of it, is the Flat Earth Society. So I mean, that's all I really have for that, because I mean, there's not really much to talk about. I mean, everyone kind of knows like the gist of like the basics of flat
this
Earth.
topic's going to be very simple compared to some of the other arguments we've had, because let's just say it's probably going to be an argument.
Oh yeah.
But it's also like a very, I would say, prevalent topic on the Woodsman. I feel like we've kind of mentioned it before, like on episodes where we're like, oh yeah, just like flat Earth theory, like
Yeah,
it's something we've always wanted to talk about. So this is kind of our little outlet to finally get across to it. To sort of state the alternative case that I would imagine most of our listeners believe.
Maybe.
Maybe, who knows?
Maybe we don't know our demographic yet.
That's true. That one guy in Australia, the Earth is flat.
Yeah, you never know, man. I mean,
I'm not
we
gonna
only
go
have
down that road
we
again,
only
but-
have like a couple listeners from Australia. You're kind of like calling out like maybe one or two listeners we have.
Maybe
So.
that's what they mean by down under.
As above, so below.
They're on the underside of the flat.
Please keep listening, guys.
Badoom,
Please.
that's the dumbest we're ever going to get here on Woodsman. Thank you very much. So to state the other side.
We're gonna get more dumb after the end of this episode. What are you talking?
That's probably true. Yeah, what's up, Eric?
I have one, and to be fair, I don't know if this falls under the flat Earth theory or round Earth theory, but the lizard people that live underneath.
Oh, the
ground.
reptilians.
Yeah,
That is.
this-
Oh,
what the
dude.
the
Gotta
was
do that
it
as a topic.
subterranean, underground?
Like,
All right?
hey, bro. Like, hollow Earth theory.
Yeah.
Hollow Earth theory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Future
Does-
episode.
Does that fall under flat Earth?
I don't
I don't know if I would consider Hollow Earth the same.
I think Hollow Earth is a whole separate like
That's a
entity in
cool-
itself.
like, yeah.
No, so
Yeah.
that's why I asked. 'Cause
That's
I'm
actually
curious.
That's actually under our topics.
Yeah,
Like,
we have that coming up.
planned-
That'll be another
yes,
episode for sure.
beautiful.
Because I am ready for that one. I mean, we got stuff like in California, bro, like Mount Shasta and everything. They say that that's like a hot spot for like
I'm gonna
where
collect all the research I need to prove that Mark Zuckerberg.
He's a lizard man. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like people higher up in the either the government or like billionaires or whatever that are like low key lizard people.
I mean, yeah, Elon Musk.
their motivations aren't human.
Mark Zuckerberg. They're all a bunch of weirdos when you really think about it.
I mean, there's some creepy videos I've seen where it looks like they kind of
A
shut
lot
down.
of Mark,
and-
though, right? Because
Some-
a lot of them are Mark.
a lot of them
supposedly,
are Mark Zuckerberg.
supposedly, if they are lizard people, they like to eat children. So
It's just like the Duendes.
Just like the Duendes.
Nah, the
Hey, at
Duendes
least you're in
liked
the
kids.
Duendes'
That was-
good graces if you just keep giving them stuff. So I
That's
mean,
true,
I guess
yeah.
that's cool.
except for the black one, right, or the red one.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think the
is
black Duendes.
The red one, there's the evil one, or
It
Yeah.
was the white. No, it was because we talked about this on housekeeping. It was the white and the black Duendes. The green and the red were was a personal encounter
it
by
was a
one person.
ploy.
But it was the white and the black.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
let you guys.
Glad you guys remember that one. Shout out. Go check out Weirdness in the Woods.
Weirdness in the Woods. Great episode.
But let's get to what is round Earth theory.
Round
Joseph?
Earth theory. So this is kind of the main, I would say, most popular belief of how the universe works and how our solar system is kind of the foundation of it is perceived. The Earth is round almost like most planets due to basically the gravitational pull. The common scientific belief is that over time, in space, materials and objects commonly collide together. And over time, when these materials collide, they begin to create their own gravitational pull because of the increase in its mass. So, like a bunch of stuff in space just kind of knocks together, and then like over time it'll start getting bigger and form, like it'll get so big that, because I guess that's how gravity works.
It's almost like a snowball. You know how like you see in the cartoons that starts with like a little
exactly.
Like,
it's
snowball and
exactly
it rolls
like
down
that.
the hill and it just keeps compacting.
And the
So
bigger
yeah,
that snowball gets, the bigger the gravitational pull. That's why, like with the sun, the gravitational pull around that keeps us in orbit around it, because it is so big that it is just holding us in place from
pulls
this far
all
away.
of
Yeah.
us, including Pluto, even though they say it's not a planet, but
Do,
whatever.
here at the Woodsman, do we consider Pluto a planet? What's our take?
I think it's a dwarf planet.
But what do you think it is? Because there's been dwarf planet, not a planet, and a planet.
I mean,
And I've heard the argument continue even to this day.
well, it's not a meteor. So I would consider it a planet regardless, but like whether it's,
Yeah, I don't know if it matters if it's a dwarf planet or not.
yeah.
I would say it is a planet, because if it is, revolving around the sun like we are Earth,
Yeah.
but no other stars, it's a planet. I mean,
Yeah,
regardless
yeah.
of
See,
size.
it just makes sense. Like it makes sense.
'Cause
Like yeah, it's small, but
I've never
like,
understood that, because that whole debacle with Pluto was happening while we were growing up. I remember we would go on field
Yeah,
trips,
you're
and sometimes
right.
it was like a planet. We'd go on another field trip and it wasn't a planet. And it was like, what does it matter? Like
It's just
still
hate.
like you said, it's revolving around
Yeah.
the sun.
That's
It's
what it
hate.
is. It's hate for Pluto.
Hate, not love.
I mean-
Planet edition.
fun fact, if you travel by light years, it takes about like 4 hours to get like our I guess like our radio waves or whatever, like
Oh.
to travel that fast. It's about like 4 hours by light year. Fun fact. Watch me be wrong and I'm gonna be really upset, but like I just heard that the other day. I thought that
Don't
was
worry, I'll check the bare facts on that one. And
but yeah, please do put me in my place next season.
oh yeah, well,
Next
we
season,
caught
dog.
that next season. So yeah, basically, with that said, the gravity as it builds up because of the mass of these objects is pulled towards the center, and because it's pulled toward the center of the object, commonly like how we believe the Earth's core is pulling all of our gravitational pull to it. The gravitational mass itself in the middle is pulling all of the object in from every part of the surface on the outward part of it,
Yeah,
pulling it
yeah.
inward, which is why at the end of the day it creates the spherical form.
That's why we have gravity.
Yeah.
That's why we don't jump and just fly in outer space.
Dude, that would be such a cruel fate.
That would
Like
be
you can you can
terrible.
live your life, but if you jump once,
It's all over. Like
Terry, no.
you can only jump in buildings. Like you can only jump in buildings, guys. That's it. You jump outside, it's over.
A fate worse than death is that moment you accidentally trip.
I jumped too high, guys. I jumped too high. Like imagine trying to dunk on the blacktop and you just keep going. You just keep going, dude.
Dude.
Well, theoretically, if you trip, you wouldn't automatically glow up. It's more like a slow
Yeah,
ascending.
you would kind of fly forward and
Yeah.
then slowly just kind of.
Hopefully someone can get an airplane up there by the time you reach low
Or
Earth orbit.
if you're
before
lucky,
you
you're
die.
in the city, you hit a tall building, and then you just start pushing yourself down.
That
just to
is-
get
that's
deeper.
also true. That's
Something
also true.
That always just boggles my mind when it comes to how space works. And this is just kind of a little off topic, little
Space
on it
is
with.
terrifying, by the way.
Oh,
absolutely
yeah.
terrifying.
But I've always like kind of thought like the fear of like if you do like accidentally get off your hook and you just start floating, like every part of my mind, and I absolutely have to believe that the astronauts who have undergone that fear, every part of your brain has to tell you that if I do this, if I start
I can
trying to swim,
my
I
way
can
back.
swim back, and you don't
You
because
don't.
you're not swimming anything. There is nothing there. That's what space is.
literally
Space
the
is nothing.
absence of everything, dude.
That is
Like,
crazy.
Hot take. You'd only have to fear it if you believe that's true.
that is
That's
true.
fair.
If you don't believe space is real, then I guess you
Because
don't have that
according,
problem.
according to some people who we believe we're in a dome, we've never been to space.
This is true. A lot of flat Earth debates will claim that.
We haven't left the firmament.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So space isn't real.
We're all just living in the city of
it's
Ember.
all these astronauts in a giant swimming pool somewhere.
That's Hollow Earth theory.
Yeah. Dude, we should bring City of Ember up when we do that episode. That'll be a good one.
We have to bring that up. Are
City
you
of Ember is such a
kidding me?
good book.
Hot take. Yeah, that book is fire, dude. I mean, I don't remember majority of it.
Neither
but,
do I,
like,
but I remember I
the
loved
premise,
it.
fire.
One thing I found interesting when I was looking into this gravity stuff is that I did not write it down, so I'm probably going to reference it incorrectly, but that some of our planets like Jupiter and Saturn, because of their mass being like different, because it's some of the planets are made of gases, while some are made of like material, physical material, that their orb shape is not as round as like Earth's is. Like I think Saturn
Interesting.
itself has like a wider middle or whatever, like a more of an oval shape if you like really measure it the same way you would measure this roundness of the Earth.
Yeah, I mean that.
Um,
I feel like that would kind of make sense. I mean, it would make sense just in general when you realize that a lot of those planets are like gas planets.
Mhm.
So it's like they're not even really like I would say as solid, right? I mean, it like the atmosphere is just so dense that it's like
It's so dense. Didn't I hear once that like if we were to travel to Jupiter and we went in, because it's gas or whatever, but the material making up its planet is so tight that if you get too far in, you'll just
bounce,
clamp.
just bounce
You're done.
into
You're
it,
done. You just squeeze and it's over.
That's wild.
I
mean,
think Bearfax me, future me, but but
Season 3 Joey.
Season 3 me. Come back to housekeeping and let us know. But man, space is scary. You're right about that. Space is one of the most terrifying things, yet one of those things that, like the ocean, we just constantly as humans want to know more. It's a strange, I feel like part of it has to do with like kind of the idea that we don't know anything. And so we as humans strive to find those answers. And because space and the ocean are so unreachable in its black and white form, we as humans are just like, we need to go and figure this out. Like, this is something that if we could figure it out, we could, like, think about people back before technology existed. The idea of going to space, that would be like reaching God. That would literally be like reaching the heavens. And now it's more like, oh, well, now if we can maybe get up there, we could like have more power over this part of the planet or something. Like it's all just different because of the times, but it's, I don't know.
No, yeah,
Food for thought.
it's very interesting. I think like depending on wherever in time you're like placed at, um, things just almost become explainable as like, well, God had to have done it because there's no way like us
Mhm.
humans could even fathom doing something like that. I'm pretty sure like before airplanes and all that kind of stuff was even a thing, with the Wright brothers and stuff.
Yeah.
People were like, a flying machine?
Yeah.
Like
They look at you like you're
flying's for birds, buddy.
crazy.
Flying is for birds. Like
And they were heavily mocked too. The
they
Wright
were.
brothers.
Yeah.
People did not
Yeah.
believe in those fools until
And look where we are now.
they did.
But
it.
that's the thing. It still happens. I mean, people still don't take seriously that we've been to space.
Yeah.
And, we will likely debate in our next main topic here, like how people maybe view the moon landing potentially as fake.
Oh, dude, don't.
But I didn't know if we should bring that one up in this episode or if that should be its own episode. But like,
I mean, you're the one outnumbered with that because I firmly believe that like the moon landing video we have now definitely was not
I
real.
never said that. Hold on. I don't think I have watched that video a lot of times since we've started talking about this. And yes, I'll admit it's real sketchy looking.
Thank you.
But that doesn't change that I think we've been to the moon.
No,
I don't necessarily know what that looks like now because I don't trust the footage.
I
But
don't trust the government.
but I don't know.
Here at the WOODSMEN Podcast, we do trust our government.
We here at the Woodsman Podcast do not believe in the moon.
We're not trying.
We do not.
We're not
It's
trying to get
literally-
canceled here.
It's literally just a big flashlight. It's just a big flashlight, dude. We're in a terrarium.
Yeah,
We
dude.
are
I was just gonna say we're just ants.
we're just
like-
ants in a terrarium, dude.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Well, I think that's a good segue into the start of the flat Earth debate, right?
No, yeah, that is very true. Before we do get there, though, I've actually mentioned a couple times, or we both have, that we need some bear facts next week, but we also need bear facts this week. So
That's true.
let's go see what the other me has to tell us this week. Welcome back to another segment of the Bear Facts with the most unbearable news anchor around, Joey Rucker. Today, glad to say, another week, another person not dead. We're on a roll. We're on a roll, chat. This week, I have a news segment that is primarily off of social media influencers, kind of similar to how I did last week with Nikocado Avocado. This one has some very big names that if you're familiar with anybody big on the platform of YouTube and even TikTok and even, I believe, the WWE for some of these guys, Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, and KSI have created a Lunchables competitor called Lunchly. This includes Logan Paul's Prime drink that he has patented himself, and I believe the Mr. Beast candy bar that Mr. Beast produces. I don't know what everybody's opinion is on all these food items that these YouTubers are putting out, but a lot of what I've been hearing through the grapevine is that it's all a bunch of processed crap, and it's really, really not good for you. And a lot of people will argue that this is just not good for kids to be eating, and all just a big marketing ploy. And I have come to the table with a bit of social media drama that came out. For those of you who know him or don't know him, a YouTuber by the name of Dan TDM. Back in the day, he was a very big Minecraft YouTuber, and as he got older and his audience grew up, he's been making less videos and just kind of raising his kid now and starting his own life. But he's still a very popular name on YouTube, and he made a big difference in like the golden age of YouTube, I would call it. And he put out a tweet on X recently saying, in response to Logan Paul, KSI, and Mr. Beast basically posting about this Lunchly announcement, he posted on his X account saying, "What happened to YouTubers, man? I can't not say anything anymore. This is selling stuff for the sake of making money. Simple. How does this benefit their fans? This is selling crap to kids who don't know better than to trust the people who are selling it to them. Do better." And honestly, the reason I bring this to Bearfax is because I'm kind of on his side with this. I am sick and tired, and I don't know, I feel like I've mentioned this. I had to have mentioned it on our episode about creativity. I am so sick and tired of like what YouTube has become, because I grew up immensely like just bound to YouTube and everything that it had, and I was such a fan of everything, and it was a big influence in my life for why I wanted to do something like this podcast in the first place. And as time goes on, people are just cash cows, and they're only doing it for the money, and they don't give actual reasonable intent for the care of their audience, and it's just getting old. And honestly, I think this whole marketing campaign for the Lunchly thing is ridiculous. So that's my opinion, but it's also the Bearfax, and I hope you enjoyed it. But we have to get back to our regularly scheduled program.
So Bearfax, I got some notes. I'm pretty. I don't like Jake Paul to begin with.
Well, it was Logan.
I don't like either of them.
That's fair.
I
You know
do
what?
not like any of them.
I think we mentioned this in a recent
Lunchables?
episode that I don't mind what Logan Paul has. Yeah, it was because we were talking about the Suicide Forest.
Yeah.
I think Logan Paul's doing better. Do I like him though? Nah.
Lunchables.
Making your own Lunchables brand. The whole vibe of all three of those guys. Like, I never liked KSI. Never even once liked him. And Mr. Beast, though he's a nicer guy, he is just the epitome of like.
That's a full cash grab right there for him.
Yeah.
Like full cash grab.
How would you feel if the Lunchly, was it Lunchly?
Lunchlies,
Yeah.
yeah.
Was a healthy food source rather than
It
the
would
processed
be
stuff?
better. It would make more sense. Like, it would be more like respectable, but I still think that like, what are they gaining out of making a Lunchables? Like,
Obviously, besides money.
well, that's my point. Like, it's just despite the nutrients being good or bad,
It's literally just another thing to sell Prime to kids.
it is.
That's literally all it is, bro. Like,
and kids eat it up because
your brother's gonna be one of the ones to buy it.
he probably will be. He has a collection of Prime bottles.
That's what
in
I
his
mean.
room.
Like, he's gonna be one of the ones to buy it, dude. Like, anyways, that's not flat
Yeah.
Earth, but like, my God, you guys make me sick. So, anyways, because I'm into my conspiracies, I mean, I guess I backed myself into the corner to be pro flat Earth, but at the same time, me and Joey both knew that it was gonna be me talking about it.
And as we stated in the beginning of the episode, neither of us believe in flat Earth.
No.
But you fell into this. You're the interdimensional Bigfoot guy, so you also have to be the flat Earth guy.
Well, you know what? Maybe maybe I can't even talk. You're making me so mad. I can't even talk. You're making me so mad right now. So, we talked about what flat Earth is.
Sure.
I got some pretty good, I would say, reasons why people believe in flat Earth. At least as far as on the religious side, you got a couple things that people cling on to when it comes to the flat Earth theory.
So how are we gonna do this? Like, are you gonna give a point of view, and then I can retaliate, or am I letting you talk for a while? Because I'm not saying I'm gonna have an answer for everything, but if you say something that like really irks me,
Okay.
I might want to respond.
Yeah. No, I think after every point,
Sure.
you go like a little rebuttal or whatever. I think that would be pretty fair. Because again, this is like our first debate type of pod,
Yeah.
so we haven't really done something like this, but we're gonna see how it works. So, at least when you go into the religious side, in Genesis, it literally talks about the separation between the sky and the heavens. It's called the firmament. A lot of people have a lot to say about the firmament, and that being like a literal separation between the heavens and the earth. So that's a little interesting. You also have, like, in Revelation 7, it says, and I quote, "And after these things I saw the 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree." So right there, it literally just says the 4 corners of the earth, which would also, I guess, and that, I guess that's not even going into the dome theory. That's talking about, like, the earth is just one big square.
Yeah.
So what do you got to say about that?
That's it's weird. But the thing with the firmament that we called it,
Yeah.
uh, the idea of the separation of the heavens and the earth, this is a problem that I have with a lot of scripture. When it comes to it's the same problem with the 4 corners of the earth for me. For me, it's like, when can we know when the Bible is trying to say something literal or metaphorical? You know, because there are a lot of times where some of Jesus's teachings are like hypothetical or metaphorical, where he'll give a story that never happened before, but it's all a story that's supposed to help you learn and gauge your own life as you choose to live it. And so when it comes to things like heavens and the earth, I often think, like, does it mean like the sky and the ground? Does it mean our physical realm of existence and literally heaven? You know, like separation, because it also speaks in the Bible of how hell is the separation of God, the absence of God.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think that the separation of the heavens and the earth could just be the fact that they physically can't be within the same physical realm, I guess, if you would call it that. At least in my opinion. This is not like necessarily basing it off of readings or anything, but that's a problem I commonly have with the Bible, is that we don't know when they're speaking truth to literal or metaphorical teachings, you know?
Yeah, and I mean that, like you said, that's a problem I think a lot of people have had just on interpreting, like, what the Bible means, because if you're going to take certain things as metaphorical, then say Lazarus raising up from the dead, is that then metaphorical? Is, the feeding of the
Maybe he was just really
5,000, is
sick.
that, yeah. Maybe bro was like, oh,
Yeah, he just
Jesus is here. Oh, hold up, let me out, but I don't know, and like you said, that is like a common occurrence that is very, I wouldn't say, maybe not questionable, but very, like, hard to, like, grasp onto, because it's like, at what point do you draw a line?
Yeah.
And, like, most people, I mean, if you're of the belief that everything in the Bible is true to literal what it says, then it's like there are a lot of things that either, like, contradict or, like, trying to understand, like, where that separation is very difficult. But it's actually, like, all the biblical parts I have of this out.
That's fair.
Because now I'm gonna go off of some things that the Flat Earth Society has in their website. So some of the things that you can argue, one would be visual perception, right? So flat earthers argue that the earth looks and feels flat. Gosh, can't even talk. Looks and feels flat based on just personal observations and experiences. So obviously, i.e., we walk and we don't, tip over because, like, oh no, I'm off balance, like that.
Yeah.
So that's one. How do you feel about that?
I think that's so dumb.
Really?
I think
Okay.
that is so stupid. I think, do you read? Okay, so this is where we start. Oh, like, we get to the point of the science part of this. To me, the Earth is enormous. It's so big, and we are so small on it, that to try and say that because it has a rounded feature we would just tip over doesn't make any sense, because we're the horizon and the perception that we see is just because of where we're at in I can't think of the word, in relation to it. It's just, I don't understand why that argument is one of their not one of their strongest, but one of their most often viewed, is like the curvature of like, would you say the horizon or what
I said just the visual perception.
The
you have
visual
of stuff.
perception.
But I mean,
So,
if
like,
we're going
when you
into
see-
horizon, like
sure.
it always appears to be flat and rises to eye level as
And
it
see,
ascends, and like
Sorry,
know,
I didn't mean to interrupt.
yeah,
I'm doing
Yeah.
a Trump right now. My bad.
got him.
I'll let you speak.
But I'm gonna tell you. No, but it's like, if we're going by horizon, like if it rises to eye level as it ascends, like you wouldn't really believe that would happen if it was like spherical, like everything is very consistently flat, on the horizon. So
What rises to eye level? What do you mean by that?
I guess I mean, it says the horizon on my notes, so
Because from what I
I would just say
specifically
I would just
heard
say
this
maybe the
argument a lot.
sun, or like
Because to me, what I heard was that this with the horizon, it's often, well, unless that's your next point, I don't know, because now I'm seeing that you're saying the lack of curvature. I don't know what to argue because like it all has to like sort of do with this one argument. I hate the whole argument of like the horizon and what you see and the fact that there's no curve, because again, we are tiny ants on this big playing field. We wouldn't be able to see the curvature with our own human eyes.
Well, I think it's like, don't things go out of view within, I believe it's like 12 miles or something.
I don't know the
like
exact
that.
mileage of
And like
view
there's
distance.
certain
my
there's
render
certain
distance is pretty
places-
low as I get older.
I was gonna say my render distance is pretty low, period. I mean, you've seen me play Minecraft, man. My chunks load in at like 30 chunks,
I
dude.
need
so
a better GPU, bro.
I need 32 RAM, dude. I need 32 and not 16.
Ugh.
No, but like I mean, there are places like in the US where if it is going by like the 12-mile rule, like people can see certain things on, say, like an island that's like farther out, or like a different, something separated by a body of water for that longer. And
Yep.
they can still see physical effects from, say, like if it's like a lighthouse, they can still see the light, even though it's like technically out of what the scientific range is. So like, how do you feel about that? Because then it's like something that has already been taught to you,
No, it's a fair argument.
is
Being able to
already,
see
like,
certain things. I see. This kind of makes me want to bring up one of my points
Do it.
because
do
I
it.
had something sort of similar to this argument. Have you heard of, like, I don't think it was an actual name, but there's a documentary on Netflix called Behind the Curve.
Yes.
There's a light experiment I think they do on there. So to explain it,
I've seen that in it.
It's a 17 feet, right?
Yeah,
17
so-
feet from the light source to a hole, and then another 17 feet from observation, right?
Yeah.
and basically the idea would be is that if the Earth is flat, then you could hold the camera at a normal positioning, or the light at a normal position, and there's two holes in those platforms you mentioned. And the camera would be able to see it because the Earth's terrain is a flat surface. But if there's curvature, you would have to physically lift the light over your head, reaching 23 feet rather than 17. Because by then, the curvature of the Earth would actually allow for the light to pass through the two holes to the camera. And so when they did this experiment, they saw the light when they had to raise it over their head, not when they held it straight. Basically kind of debunking that theory of not to say it's every theory here with horizon and lack of curvature, but like to me that was very interesting because when it comes to your visual perception and what cameras are a little different. Cameras, you can play with things, you can fake things, but at the same time, to me, that was a very interesting point because it's like, well, that makes a lot more sense if the Earth is rounded, because then that's the only way that the light would be able to be noticeable. What do you mean?
I'm just
Oh, okay, let me chime in on that one because I've seen that and I understand. But here's my thing, and we can all agree to this. There are plenty of hills, plenty of mountains, regardless of it being flat. Who's to say that during that experiment there was, by chance, circumstances, they were just on a higher spot. You know what I mean?
that's-
So that kind of debunks that in a way. Sad to say, because I'm not
Sure.
flat Earth.
Well, I also
But-
haven't
Because
seen
nothing
I
on
haven't
the
seen
Earth is
the-
really flat. Like terrain
Right.
isn't flat, so it's very hard, I guess, to prove something like that. I mean, the easiest way to prove it is just go up into space. I mean, that's literally like the best way to prove it. But then that also comes into, you know, our government conspiracies and all that, and like conspiracies with NASA, like hiding. I mean, there have been plenty of things that we have seen that I personally sent you, where there's full green screens and everything, like within like NASA programs. There are like what?
No,
Well,
I'm listening.
You're making a
I'm-
face. You're making a
I
face.
just no.
I-
'Cause it's like I said. I think what in the last main topic, I cannot necessarily give all of my trust into the filming company that decided to handle like moon landings and stuff like that. And
I mean, there's also
And-
videos of like literal aerophysicists. Is that? I think that's like the name of it. Where they've said like we've lost the technology to go to the moon. How do you
Yeah,
just
yeah, no, I've heard.
how
that
you just
too.
misplace the technology, dog?
Did he ever say how or what that meant? Because I could also see that.
Well,
with it-
they've said period on camera like we don't have the technology to go to the moon. So like when you hear that from like a NASA worker who is supposed to be a scientist like in that field, I find it very interesting as to like how do you not have it when we apparently chat, quote unquote, went to the moon in what year? It was the 1900s. Think of like all the stuff we got now. Our man behind the camera is looking it up for
We're
us.
probably
but-
honestly bad Americans for not knowing the date.
Man, dude,
Despite whether or not you
I
believe
don't care.
in
The moon landing video's fake, anyways, dude. Here's the thing, Chad. Here's the thing. I'm not gonna say we've never been to the moon, although there's a little bit questionable stuff about it. I will say I do believe America was fully intending on bankrupting Russia in the space race because they knew that Russia was way farther ahead in their aerospace programs. And I believe we faked the moon landing video that we have, or like we have been told is like the real moon landing video, to possibly bankrupt them into like, oh, if America's there first, like we got to pick it up, you know, and then kind of lead them into a.
So it was July 20th, 69.
Yeah, so you're going to tell me we went to the moon in 1969 and it's 2024 and we don't have the technology anymore?
We're just trying to like we're just trying to like make a real
I mean, you realize that every time
comfortable way to go, you know?
realize-
like we're working on a Tesla that can go to the moon. That's got to be what it is. A nice comfy. All right.
you realize
Never
every
mind.
because there's
It
still
was a joke,
astronauts.
to be
There-
clear, that was a joke.
like there's still astronauts, like, you know, they haven't just ceased to exist, right? Like there's still astronauts going to space. You realize the only space they've been going to is low Earth orbit
Yeah.
in the International Space Station, which is nowhere close to being out where
I
the
know.
moon is.
I know. But
So like
back to this point, even for those who go up to the low Earth orbit, you can see the freaking curvature of the Earth.
can you?
Do they have the astronauts gone to space and been like, that's a disc with some ice walls?
I don't know. I mean, we don't, because I mean, you want me to support the flat Earth thing, so I'm supporting
I know.
it. I'm saying like I'm trying really hard
I'm
right
doing
now.
my best.
Like I'm doing my best, but like
It's fair.
I also don't believe in our government enough to say that, like, and again, that'll be one of my points that's coming up. I might as well bring it up now. The things on camera have been falsified. The things have been made to look like it's curved. Like, oh, yeah, look at these pictures the astronauts brought back to us from, you know, the International Space Station. And it's like, well, first of all, if you're in low Earth orbit, you're not even far enough away to fully see the Earth.
Fair, but there
in
is
spherical form.
okay, but there is a definite curve, and you can't see.
But there's
For
a
instance-
definite curve on what you've seen.
Okay, fine.
There's
I'm gonna pull out
not.
another
That
one.
doesn't
I'm gonna pull out
mean.
another one.
That
'Cause
doesn't mean that
what about-
NASA's not. You know.
Can you scroll down to my anti notes? Because there's one I wanted to note. Okay, so Felix Baumgartner, when he skydived from the space station or from
Low
lower
Earth
Earth orbit, the video was live streamed over 77 broadcast news channels, and in the live stream you can clearly see the curvature of the Earth.
You're telling me the news doesn't
Live,
put out.
I mean, you could
Was it
see the
live?
entire jump.
But was it live? The
Were you
news.
there?
Well, I mean, not to be that guy, but it's like, I mean, anyone can say, "Oh, this is live right now, and this is happening currently." Anyone could say that.
I guess I didn't do enough research on like what happened after he landed, if there were people there or not, or if there were any eyewitness encounters, but it's one of the other reasons why it's hard for me to believe, cuz fine, I'll give you. It could be easy enough to fake a live stream these days, but to fake an entire live stream commercial thing in 1969 over every TV channel when the moon is being first landed on.
Oh, you mean the moon landing?
I'm just saying.
Oh, didn't
I'm
the
not-
president call them in on like a rotary phone? I have-
Did he?
My 5G doesn't even work in my own house. And you're going to tell me in 69 they were able to call in to astronauts on the moon with a rotary phone?
He had a really big antenna.
Your argument's starting to fold, buddy. Your argument is starting to fold.
All right. What's your next point?
So let's go down to point four. Let's go down to point four. Oh, that was photographic evidence. That was the next
Yeah.
one right there. Okay, so number 5, water behavior. Flat earthers argue that water always finds itself level and doesn't curve, which they believe contradicts the idea of a spherical earth.
And this was the one where my that's genuinely the one that my original argument for level of perspective was my against, was that the higher up you go, the more it will start to curve, at least if you believe that, I guess. The problem with this is that a lot of it is whether or not, because like, no, we don't just have ladders and stairs that go that high, but
Tie yourself to like a weather balloon or something. And
you could, like, that's
why haven't we?
we did. That was not Caleb. That's a guy I know. What was his name? Felix? Felix Baumgartner.
You're asking the wrong guy, dude. I don't know.
He, from what I understood, took an air balloon up to the place where he was jumping from. It was an atmospheric.
Oh,
weather
you're right.
balloon
You
or
know,
something.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, he was like in a little maybe like capsule type of thing,
Yeah.
and like this big old balloon was
it brought
taking
him
him up. Yeah,
And
Wasn't it sponsored by Red Bull?
I
it may have
think
been.
so.
Because I'm pretty sure I saw like Red Bull.
I've
logo
seen
on
a
all of
red.
it
Yeah,
and
because
all
I've
that, so-
seen a Red Bull one where someone skydives from like an insane.
I want to say that's the same thing he's
it
talking
might
about.
be the.
When
the
we
same
eventually
one.
get our show notes handled, I have the article here that I read about his story, but the article that I read was his specific encounter. Now, that's another reason why I chose that story, because it wasn't like I just got a news article talking about the jump. It was hearing what he had to say about it and hearing about all the nerves that he had going up and all that kind of thing, which just makes me kind of believe the story more. It's not to say that he couldn't have been paid a certain amount of money to lie, but it's kind of the whole problem with these conspiracy theories is that that's kind of the whole problem. It's just this person could have been paid, this person could have been lying, this all was fake.
Yeah.
Hot take for you right here, Joey. Going off of that, who's to say they didn't pay Buzz Aldrin and the rest of the astronauts?
Thank you.
Just saying. I'm just
Thank
saying.
you, because I've seen videos where people have gone up to Buzz Aldrin and
I've seen those videos too, and they were like, and then you even hear people in the background, like
get
their bodyguards. Do
extremely
you want me to
pissed
take care of
off
it
and-
for you?
yeah.
what do you mean by that?
Like, well, you're gonna murder them for
Yeah.
asking if you landed on the moon? Like, that's crazy.
And then again, here's a hot take for you though as well. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. Who's to say they didn't doctorate that film? You know what I mean? Like, it's very possible.
Which film?
The one where the Buzz Aldrin's being confronted.
Oh.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
that's facts. That's
Here's
facts.
the thing. We just don't know.
Yeah, and that's the problem, dude. And like media, especially like nowadays, like media is so easy to fake. You could fake literally anything. Like you can fool. I mean, and it always somehow finds itself back into aliens and stuff. But there have been like ufologists that like that's all they do. They just study like that kind of stuff, where people have shown them pictures and have been able to fool them just based off of, photographic evidence that people, have made, just to see if they can fool them, which they have. So then it's like, and that's people who have studied their whole lives over like that certain and specific like topic, so it's like media right now, I mean, it's gotten so good. I mean, we love
too,
these movies.
Everything's
but
getting worse. Like everything's we're gonna be not even the ones creating the fake news anymore in the next couple of years. It'll be the computers making the fake news.
Literally, I mean, like
Skynet.
you could put it into Chat GBT, like, hey, or some of these like AI like voice like things, you can get an AI voice app for like free, and you could sound like Obama. Like, I don't know if you guys saw
be
that,
clear.
but like, like you can do stuff like that, and it's like it's enough. It's not perfect, but it's just enough to be able to fake something that could be very much real.
To be somewhat believable.
Exactly. Well, if we're going into that, point 6, flight paths, right? Flat earthers point out that certain flight paths and travel times do not make sense on the globe model, but they do make sense on a flat earth map. So I didn't put it down, but I have it on my phone right here. So I'm going to read a couple examples of that that I have found. So the flight from Santiago, Chile to Sydney, Australia, on a globe, the most direct route would be a curved path over the Pacific Ocean. Or specific. over the
Over
Pacific.
the very specific ocean.
Yeah,
we all
yeah.
know.
Which
We don't
ocean?
know which ocean, but
It's a specific
it's
one?
a
Real
specific
specific
one.
one.
It's a specific one. Over the Pacific Ocean. However, some flights have layovers in North America, such as in Los Angeles, and the flat Earth proponents argue that this route makes more sense on a flat Earth map, where North America lies between South America and Australia. So that's just one of them. Flight from Johannesburg, South Africa to Perth, Australia. Direct flights between these two cities are relatively rare. Don't really know what that means. Didn't go further into that, but interesting. This would make so much more sense if we had like the maps in front of us to actually see this, because I'm terrible with geography, so I'm like not the person to be talking about this. But so instead, many flights have layovers in places like Dubai or Singapore, and the flat Earth proponents, people who believe all this
Society.
kind of stuff. I guess me in this instance, since I'm arguing for it,
Flat earther.
suggest that these layovers are actually more direct on a flat Earth map, where these locations are positioned along straight lines between Johannesburg and Perth. So that's just like 2 examples. I got a couple more, but we don't got to go into that because again, we don't have a map. So anyone who's listening or watching this right now, take out your phone, go on satellite view on like Google Earth, something like that, because that's a globe view. Check that out. Maybe look up like a flat Earth map, and you can see that. Compare, contrast. We keep saying we'll put it in the show notes when that happens.
Show notes are
We'll
coming
put
eventually.
that there for you.
Just like Patreon.
Just like Patreon. Hey,
Patreon
season
might-
3, guys.
Season three.
So yeah, that's another one. So how do you feel about flight paths? I feel like that one out of all of them is a little interesting because there are certain things there that you can kind of like maybe make more sense of because it's something physical and it is weird. Like it is strange to have layovers in a completely different place, going to somewhere else when it would just make a lot more sense to just fly straight through.
I don't
know?
have a lot of arguments towards flight paths, just because I didn't know that was an argument. So I don't have.
Do your research?
I researched a different kind of travel.
Sounds like your globe theory is falling apart. That's what it sounds like.
Okay. One theory or one note that I've always said, and we talked about this the other night, that I think is probably the best chance you can get at just proving it, is if the Earth is round, if you walked in a straight line for a while, you would eventually make your way back to the exact same spot, right? And so I was curious if this ever happened. Now, there have been flights over the years where people have attempted this, but because of landing locations and certain problems like
Weather,
that,
like all
whether you
that,
can't
yeah.
like just fly in a straight line perfectly.
Well, I mean, take just people like, Amelia Earhart. I mean, trying to circumnavigate the world. She didn't make it. She didn't know. She didn't.
What?
She didn't make it back to where she's supposed to make it back. But
Spoiler alert.
there's a lot of extenuating circumstances. I think that's
But
how you say that word.
I looked up. Could you scroll down a little bit for me?
Yeah, I mean, I'm done with my points. So you go make your.
This
you go
is
make
kind of
your
like the last
against
point I
flat
have.
Earth points.
My point for my own argument of travel is about the first polar circumnavigation done on the Earth, or at least that we know of.
Is this about my boy Admiral Byrd?
No,
Oh well, that's unfortunate.
no.
Okay.
This
Continue.
was.
I mean,
They were basically trying to complete this by land and sea, as far as I'm aware, as straight as possible. Now, obviously, they can't. It's not perfect. You can't. you
I mean, our
can't-
compasses don't even read
Exactly.
true north. So
but
that
this
should
was
give you
like
a
one of the
little bit.
first ones where they over the land and sea was like I think they called it the Transglobe Expedition. This happened in 1979 to 1982,
I didn't know the Earth would change like that.
and it was led by Sir Ranulph Fiennes. I'm sorry if I butchered your name.
Ranulph. I have no
Ranulph?
idea. It could, it's probably wrong. But
And it began in Greenwich, London, and ended in Greenwich, London. And it took them about 3 years to complete. And I don't have like all the details of it, but I will like put a link in our show notes when that exists to the article that I got this from. But the reason I thought this was interesting is because this has been one of my biggest like outlier arguments just in my own head. Whether or not there are like, and maybe people could like prove that this is a stupid argument or not scientifically or just beliefly. But
you got it. Good.
because
Good
here's
grammar,
the thing
good
that I've
grammar.
heard a lot. I've heard a lot of flat earthers say that even based on the flat earth scale of things, that if you were to circumnavigate the globe, hello, we've hit our time, chat. No, but
we're gonna keep going.
We're gonna keep going for you. But if the flat earthers have said that if you try to circumnavigate the globe on their they don't have a globe, they have a paper, piece of
map.
paper.
It's a map, buddy. Same thing pirates used, buddy. Same thing.
Okay. The guys who put what up their urethras?
Mercury.
Mercury.
Yeah.
I trust those guys.
Shout out
Clearly,
Blackbeard.
best scientific.
Listen, man, he didn't have a lot of options. All right. At least you know why bro was mad.
There is an argument that I have seen for your side where they have stated that if you were to travel east to west or west to east on a flat surface, that it would still technically be possible for you to basically kind of, because you would naturally, according to the map, circle back to your original placement. Here's my problem with that, because I have seen...
Here we go.
No, hear me out, dog. I've seen the map that they've explained how the travel would look, and here's my problem with it. That's not a straight line. And it's not even close to a circle. Like, it is the most ugly path I've ever seen as an argument. It doesn't make any sense, and I don't get it. I don't understand why, because the thing is, y'all believe in a magical ice barrier that stops us from getting to the other multiverse, right? Why if you were walking in a straight line, would you not hit the ice wall? I'm not asking would you hit the ice wall then turn and then maybe eventually find your way back. I'm asking if you walked a straight line, you wouldn't find your way back. But on our planet, Sir Ranulph Fiennes, he did it.
I really hope we have like one of his long lost family members like call in. Go, actually, it's
Sir Ranulph Fiennes.
and I would appreciate if you keep his name out of your mouth.
Keep my great uncle's name
Out your mouth.
So, okay, what do you have to say about this? Because this is genuinely a big question I have in the argument.
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to give you any opinions on it because I haven't seen the map, so I don't
Sure.
really necessarily know like what the path looks like. You know, I'm kind of folding here.
map theory's looking pretty weak now, isn't it?
Listen, man, you put me in an awkward spot because I don't believe in it to begin with. So, like, I find it a.
Oh my god, I thought I was literally about to just take a dive on the Woodsmen podcast.
And that's season 2.
That was it.
I don't know, man. I mean, I love the ice wall theory. I would love to tell you that like I have all the answers, but I don't because wanna know why? Because
I don't believe in it.
I don't believe in it, so I don't.
Censorship. That's why.
I can't give you a clear answer. The government told me I'm not allowed to talk about it. Okay, so like I'm gonna need you to stop asking all these questions. all right, you know.
Men in Black will be at his front door.
Yeah, they will, bro. Oh, another episode. There we go. Men in Black cases. Let me tell you. Oh
Well,
man, dude. I don't know, man.
I think this was a good debate. I did enjoy it.
It was all right. I mean, like you kind of folded on a couple of your facts, but whatever.
You couldn't even argue my argument.
I couldn't argue.
I may have
one.
folded, but at least I argued. At least I tried.
Again, I haven't seen the map. You didn't show me no
I haven't
map.
seen,
There's
like,
no
half of
map
the
on
stuff you talked
There's no
about.
map on these notes. I don't know, man. I don't.
We'll check the show notes.
You're claiming they went a straight
In about a
line, and
couple months.
the map said there's.
But that's the
no
thing.
straight
They
line,
don't
I don't
claim that
know.
they're walking a straight line. They claim that if they walk, they'll eventually get back. Like that's the thing that I don't understand about the
Well,
theory.
did they?
Yeah, but they walked in a circle and not even like a.
You just said it wasn't a circle.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't. That's what I'm saying. It
interesting.
wasn't a circle. It was like a. I went straight, then I turned left. I went a little right. Took a swing by McDonald's and Arby's. Then I went down to the theater to have a little time to myself. Took a trip down to the Grand Canyon and
I
came
mean,
back
it took
up.
them
Like,
3 years, bro. Like, you can't have enough
it
supplies
was 3
to go
years for
3
the round globe theory, dog. It was 3 years for my guy, not yours.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was talking about.
Oh,
You're,
okay.
yeah.
No, mine is. I'm not saying mine was the guy who had the weird path. Mine was as straight as they could physically keep it.
And they did
wasn't-
it.
Yes. They started in Greenwich, London, and then they ended in Greenwich, London. But they took boats and they walked.
I don't
Whatever.
know. It sounds a little suspicious. to
Sounds a
me.
little suspicious to me.
Whatever, man. Whatever.
I think it's about time we wrap this up.
Before I strangle you on camera.
And the sad part is he believes the same thing that you
I know.
believe. You're just
We're on
making
the
him
same
mad.
side. He's just
I hate you. If you're walking a straight line and you get back to the same point, your straight line's still a circle, dog. You're still ending up in the same place by walking in a circle.
Yes,
on a dome,
but
not on a map.
So if it's on a flat Earth map, it would technically work the same way, just flat. You just
So, fine. Okay, hold on.
end up in the
Hold
same
on.
place.
Wait,
Fine.
Because you would end up in the
So
same
your
place.
argument would be that you're going to the under Earth.
No. Because like
Well, okay, but here, okay,
'Cause you almost had me.
I'm
You-
trying to stay with you. I'm trying to stay with you because I get what your point was.
Because you're basically taking your straight line going this way, and then you're just turning it sideways.
No, here's the thing.
But that would be if you're on the edge.
Here's the thing, though. If you're thinking of it as a sphere, right, and you're a circle, right?
Yeah.
But then you want to make it a straight line, you'd have to take that sphere and put it flat. So now there's no way for me to go from point A to point B. Well, basically from point A all the way back to point A. It would just be from point A to point B because now it's flat. There's no
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
But now
and then you would fall off
you-
the edge into the space.
theoretically, if that's how we're
If you hit the ice wall, then you just turn. And just...
But then it's not a straight line. You turned.
Technically,
a
you
box.
can't go a straight line anywhere from point A to point B due to terrain and due to water and
True.
due to
mountains.
But we
Yeah,
have
everything.
navigational data that can help us do our best.
well,
At least with our round Earth.
see, now here's the
real
thing.
one.
For what you're saying, though, if you would, though, if that's the case, to combat in that terrain, theoretically, because again, this would be impossible. You would need a fuel source to keep
Yeah.
a plane
yeah.
in the air to
Consistently
be able to go.
circumnavigate.
If it is a sphere, which our common belief is, if it's a sphere, you need
You know
a
what? No. I'm against globe theory now.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
You
so
heard it here
for the
first.
globe theory, though, you would need a plane with the
The resources enough
to
get
be able
you-
to travel all the way around without stopping in a straight line. You know, so it's hard. It's really hard to just be like, hey, like this is.
And then
how
you
it
got to
goes.
bring in the gravity and all that.
Right.
And then it's like, okay,
Well, then again,
the Earth
with
rotates two different
yes,
ways. It
yes,
goes this
and
way
then
and it
with the
goes
weather
this
too,
way,
because
yeah.
weather's not going to make it easy for you to travel in one straight line.
You
So
hit the Bermuda Triangle, then every single thing you have goes out as
Yep.
far as navigation and all that. you know,
but again,
saying,
it's
just
the day and
saying.
age of where with the age we live in of information. To
We
misinformation.
just need to fund our own space expedition.
And that's how you die. That's what happened with the people in the scuba, whatever that was, the
I just need a
Watergate
big
or
old weather
whatever they
balloon, bro.
call
I
it.
just need a big old
Are
water.
we live?
Yeah, I was recording.
That's fine. We can
I
use
mean,
this as a
I
wrap.
Yeah.
think we just need the.
It's kind of
Well, just recently, I'll just say this real quick. They said someone saw a $5 strap on that sub
Yes,
on the
I
outside.
saw
Have you
that
seen the
too.
picture?
Yes,
And I'm
yes.
thinking,
What are you talking about?
so you know the submersion team that was going underneath the water
That
doing exploration.
imploded in the water.
Yeah, supposedly
trying to-
imploded in the water.
Oh, the second Titanic related death
Yeah.
ever?
Trying to see the Titanic.
Someone
yeah.
recently found a $5 car
like a
strap
ratchet strap, dude.
around the actual sub or whatever, the deep
a
sub, whatever
little
they call it.
submarine thing. That just shows you how little they knew about exploration. You know,
I feel like I learned a lot. I learned that.
are you converting to flat Earth?
No,
or-
I learned that you're full of
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, that's fair. Honestly,
No, I do think that there's some interesting points to be made with the flat Earth theory. I would
I think
be
there's
lying.
interesting points to be made about globe theory.
Globe-
too.
You make a few solid.
Some solid
Solid
points.
arguments.
Solid points.
Um,
Oh, dude. I mean, it's just one of those. I would love to get someone who truly believes in like flat earth theory
yeah, because we're doing our
to
best
ask
here.
them like because we're both non-believers, so we don't know the information, but like I would love to get someone who wholeheartedly believes that that's the truth
Mhm.
and ask them like what has led you to conclude
Yeah.
that the earth is
And
flat.
then I would love to
you
look them
know?
in the eyes and say, if you were to walk in a straight line, like Sir Ranulph
Phineas.
Fiennes,
Phineas.
where would you go?
I
And they would be
what
like,
do you-
well,
I'm gonna need to take a second on that one. Like,
I'm actually not allowed to talk about it because the government called me.
could you imagine? Could you imagine? Like, hey, I told you not to go on that
You
podcast.
see a little red dot start circling, and you're like, all right, I don't need to know.
I don't need to
take
know.
it back.
Never mind. Just don't kill him. There's a lot of cleanup we'd have to do if you did that here. So,
I still think it was fun.
It
We
was
should
good. It was
we
a
should
good
do
one.
more debates in the future. Like we can. This was like our first like attempt at a debate. I think in
It's
the
just
future
hard because we agree on a lot of stuff. So it's like trying to find a topic where we
we could
wholeheartedly
find
disagree.
one, like whether or not chicken parm is worth it,
oh,
and whether or not
dude.
mayo is worth it.
Mayo can suck my right
Dude.
toe, dude. That's all I'm
So can
saying.
chicken parm.
Chicken parm would be lucky to. Whatever, man. Whatever. So we're gonna end this with a question for
Yeah.
you guys.
Question as always.
Question as always. Do you believe that the Earth is round, or you simply believe it's flat? Or do you guys just happen to believe in a whole other theory
that
altogether?
we've never known. We don't know about.
Yeah, because there could be
If you got other theories about how the way
Prism
our
Earth theory?
Prism Earth theory. Yeah.
Wow.
If any of you believe that the Earth is a prism, please comment down below or contact us at the Woodsman Pod
At gmail.com.
at gmail.com.
Please, because I would love to know if that's even a real thing.
Yeah.
Well, we've been your hosts, Brent Murphy.
And Joey Rucker.
Later, Gators.
Ah!
The Woodsman Podcast is actively reading and responding to everything and anything on Instagram and our email. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about the show, or would like to possibly be on the show, you can email us at thewoodsmanpod@gmail.com. Make sure to keep up with all things Woodsman related on Instagram as well, at WoodsmanPod. Don't forget to rate, like, and subscribe to the Woodsman Podcast wherever you get your podcasts, with video exclusively on YouTube and Patreon. Make sure to follow our personal accounts at Strange Kids and Pie Master J on all platforms.
The Woodsman Podcast is co-produced by Brent Murphy and Joey Rucker.
Our technical producer and engineer is Eric Bessero at Elite Sound Studios, with additional engineering by Brent Murphy.
Video editing by Joey Rucker, and blood, sweat, and tears by all of us.
Any additional content by the Woodsman Podcast may not be used without our permission. Copyright Cabin 13 Productions. And remember,
Nothing is flatter than Joey's ass.